Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first run of the day. Treasure Planet, any percent in PS1 by the Thebpg13. Super excited for this one. I'll go ahead and hand it off to you.
No worries, thanks very much. So, hello everyone. You may have seen me in probably any marathon going at this stage, but thank you for that introduction. I'm the BPG13, also known as Viper, to my regular viewers. This is Treasure Planet for the PS1. There is a PS2 release, but for the sake of things, obviously, we're playing the PlayStation 1 version. This is the any percent, and we're going to use a couple of glitches straight off the bat. And I'll explain a little bit more as I get into it. As we go, and there might be a bit of downtime as well, just to have like a general chit chat whilst I'm playing, because there is a couple of races we do. I think it's, let me just check, 1, 2, 3, so there's 4 races altogether, 2 bosses and 2 main explorations of planets, which are Montressa and Spaceport, but we'll get into them as we go, and I'll explain a bit more of the game as we go. So if we are ready on the timer side of things, I'll give you a countdown. Now I'll just quickly explain before we start the countdown. Normally time is when you start scrolling, but for the sake of marathons we'll do it from the start new game. It'll only be about 10 or 15 seconds more than usual, but it won't make that big of a difference, trust me. So I'll start it from here. So if we're ready on time, I'll give you a countdown from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so how do I explain Treasure Planet? Well, Treasure Planet follows the film of the same name. If you've never seen the film, it released in 2002. It was an animated film, and apparently, according to the time, it actually was quite good. It was overlooked a lot. It was one of them films that was underrated from Disney in a lot of people's eyes, myself especially. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to collect these yellow crystals over here. So there's one behind us, as you saw, and there's another one just here. Now, you may notice as well, immediately the first trick involves doing this to get a game over. However, when you jump here, you quit to the hub, so immediately you're like, what the hell? So when you, basically what happens is, when you have 0 lives and you jump off to kill yourself for the final time, normally you get a, do you want to continue? However, what was found by someone in the community, and I do apologise, I do not know the name of who it was, but someone found out that if you exit the hub and then go back into level, we now have infinite health, and also we can do this. So now there's no death plane. So now what can happen is you drop down and this happens. So you actually fall through the bottom of the map, and then respawn through the top of it. Yep, believe me, I have no frigging clue myself either. First thing is, we're going to talk to this guy, who's called Ethan, and he wants us to stop some birds stealing his dad's cogs, I guess they are? I don't know. Dad's machinery. But yeah, it was a nice fun little glitch with this one. So it's going to be just like a little, just like a shooting range. Think of it as, if anyone's played, is it Duck Hunt for the... Is it NES? I have to apologise, I forget which one it is. So all I need to do is make sure that these birds are shot and they don't get away with what we need. Hopefully with a bit of luck. There you go. So there's 3 parts to this. That was the first part. This is the second part. But yeah, the film, like I said, came out in 2002. It was often overlooked because there was a lot of different films around at the time, animation-wise. Not only that, we also had the, obviously, Pirates of the Caribbean films, which came out, I think, was around the same time, or not far off. I think they're about a year out, actually. And they often overlooked overlooked this film. Personally, I believe that this film was quite good. Real quick as well, about people who may have played the PS2 version of this game. So around, like, in the early 2000s anyway, so it's probably worth mentioning this. So yeah, in the early 2000s, they had this game, and I believe Monsters Inc. got the same treatment, which was some games anyway. They got released for the PS1 and the PS2. Also, we've just collected a token. So these tokens are called pirate tokens, I think they are. And we have to collect 12. So we collect 5 of them in Montressa, which I believe at the time is the maximum you can actually pick up. Now you also use that glitch a couple of times in Monterey, so it does actually get used quite a few times. I think it's about 6 times in total. Believe it or not, this speeds the game up quite a bit. I think it saves about a minute or so. There is like some strats that I won't be doing that the good runners will be doing. But yeah, to kind of put it bluntly, if you've never seen this game before, I would highly recommend giving it a try, like watching the film as well in general. I think the film was relatively good. You also want to make sure at this point that you're... You want to make sure that you've loaded the level. If you go back, then some of the level doesn't load properly. So you want to make sure of that. I was mentioning about the PS2 version. So to put it bluntly, the PS2 version, I don't know how much different it is, but it plays different, and I believe it still follows the same, obviously the plot of the film still, so it's not like it's that much different. I don't know much about bosses for that game either, but it is a bit different, and the PS1 version was a lot more different. Also, so this is something, like I said, you can use this glitch and it allows you to do this. So you can now go into the lift.
Yeah, sure, I'll use
And now, what we're going to do is we're going to take this lift down to the mine. Now, usually what happens is, if you're playing this without glitches, you'd have to save up 100 coins, and you'd have to buy your way into the Miners' Union or something. But because of the fact that we skipped that, it means you don't actually need to do that. So, yay. All good fun. Also, we do have a laser. So you may have seen already by now, we have a sword, and we also have this laser gun. The laser gun is quite useful for some enemies, although not all, because some of the enemies have a protective shield on them. So that's something. Also, there is some checkpoint things here. So this part of the game, actually, this is where the route changes a bit from the normal one, as we go into the darkness. So what we need to do is we need to beat the game, beat this level, by collecting 5 of the, need to collect 5 of the bulbs altogether. I think it's 5 bulbs. So there's these generators that, unfortunately, a guy's got a problem with. At the time, it's quite funny. It's like, okay, so they've got a problem with these generators. Also, because I'm invincible, it means that no matter what the enemies do to me, they can try and swing for me and kill me, but they can't. So there's something. There's one perk about this invincibility death cheat thing that you can do, which is quite cool. But basically what we'll do is we're going to leave this one here, this generator here. And there's a reason for that, because this generator in particular is actually the nearest to the door. So what's going to happen is we're actually going to beat the generators before the game even tells us to do that. So normally you run to the guy and he's like, I need you to help me with the generators, whereas because of this glitch that we can do, we can actually progress behind locked doors, and it allows us to basically do all 5 generators before we talk to him. If you happen to do all 5 generators, this is what I was trying to say, if you do all 5 generators before he gets a chance to say anything, like you've completed all 5 and then you go and talk to him, you can actually soft lock the game, I believe, so you don't want to be doing that. That's for damn sure. So I'm just going to wait till this starts to move. So this bit for me is always the most fun part here, because I never remember where I'm going. But it's funny because you drop down and then you drop from the ceiling. So what I need to do now is I need to keep an eye out and look for the guy. There he is. He's over here. Here he is. So after a bit, or in a second, this is going to load. There we go. I just want to make sure that I don't drop through the floor here. If I drop through the floor, then what ends up happening is, yeah, you end up going back through again. So yeah, here's a fun thing for you to find out. So how you obtain these like pirate tokens in the game. So the first way is to collect these Flint's Journal, which we're going to be doing in here and also in Spaceport, which is coming up after. You also get it by completing various tasks for people. Again, you'll see us doing it that way. And the other way of doing it as well, you've seen already as well that we've done it via we've beat it by simply just going, right, why don't we just look through, look at secret areas, secret area. So some of the secret areas have them in there. There's also another thing too, which I've not mentioned and you'll get to see after we've done Montressa, and that is a what do you call it? It's we get to turn around and do some racing. So in case you don't know, there is actually races in this too. So it's quite nice. So this is the bit I mentioned. So if I did all 5 generators now, this game would softlock and the game would crash. The reason why we do 4 out of 5 and never 5 is because as soon as you've done the 5th one, it'll warp you back, whereas obviously you don't want it to not warp you back. Also, we're going to collect a life there, and this is actually going to be quite useful.
You did it! You saved
Allow me to explain. So, when you do the
Yeah, sure, I'll use
what's this going on? So, when you're in this death warp state, you've got no lives. It basically says you've got 0 lives. There's no number. When this is the case, you can only exit the game. You can't quit to the hub like you want to do, which is a shame, but it is what it is. But the whole reason is so we can do this. We can do a game over, and now we have 3 lives again. And that's actually a deliberate way of doing it, by the way. For those that are wondering, that was deliberate. And the last pit is... That's actually the first level done and dusted. So we've now actually collected 5 of these. And now we get to do a race. Now I will just say as well is that this game, like I think probably most Disney games had at the time, they have movie clips from the film. So obviously I'll be skipping all of those. Apart from the end, I usually leave that in there for the sake of things. So what we want to also be doing during this run is we want to collect 200 coins for Spaceport. The reason why this is significant is because in Spaceport there's a certain part which says basically we need 200 coins because I think it's to do with some union thing. Again, similar to what it is in the other one. It's like, oh yeah, we need some money for a union or something or other. So what we're going to be doing is, in this level in particular, we're going to try and collect as many coins as we can. Thereabouts anyway. And there's actually 150 coins that we can collect in here, so that's always good. And obviously we're going to collect some in Spaceport as well, so if you see me collecting a couple of coins in Spaceport, that's why. And we will be doing anyway, so we're going to have more than enough. As long as we have 200 by the time we get to the end. We also want to make sure that we've got... what is it? We want to make sure that we've got 12 pieces, token pieces, because if we don't, then unfortunately, it means that, well, we're not going to have enough to get through, we're not going to have enough to get through Spaceport and everything. So the way this works is to beat Treasure Planet, the final race, which is Treasure Planet, the Treasure Planet race. You need, I think it's 18. Is it 18? It's 18. I can't remember. Yeah, I think it's 18 tokens altogether. So what we do is we collect 5 in Montressa, we collect 3 in the Montressa race, we collect another 4 in Spaceport, and then we collect 3 in the Spaceport race, another 3 in the Legacy race, and what we've got to do is between all of these is after we do Spaceport, we'll have enough to do the Spaceport race, but we have to defeat the first boss in the game, which is called Scrooge Boss. Scrooge is a guy, not Scrooge from A Christmas Carol, not that Scrooge. So Scrooge is, I think he's called Scroop, actually. Sorry, Scroop, not Scrooge. But yeah, he's called Scroop in the film. And he's basically like this crab thing, and he doesn't like Jim. So allow me to kind of introduce a bit of the plot here, to kind of talk about it. It gives me time to talk about it, because it's a bit of downtime. So you follow the story. The story basically follows, it's like a modern version of Treasure Island, for anyone that's read that book. Follows the exact same story as that. But you play as, or should we say, the film follows Jim Hawkins, a lad living in Montressa with his mum at the Benbow Inn, along with a professor. I forget what the professor's actually called. They have a professor who's supposed to be a dog, and they go finding Treasure Planet because a guy turns up dead at the doorstep, nearly, and he gives it to Jimbo and he's like, you need to get it away from the cyborg, and we don't find out about that till later in the film. I won't spoil it much, but the game follows the plot, so it's fine. Yeah, he ends up going to like Spaceport, where he gets in the RLS Legacy, which is a ship. There's gunfights and stuff in there as well. But yeah, it's pretty damn good. Also, at the end of these races, what we do is we quit to the hub like that. This basically skips... So, this actually skips something. And it skips the... After every race, you get a race time. And you have a bronze, a silver, and a gold. And gold is what we're going for in the races to make this run as quick as possible. It is also worth mentioning as well... So, in Spaceport, we're going to be doing the death glitch again. Now, normally, we don't actually... Well, normally, most good runners don't do this. But I do this to play it safe. So, we're going to do the death glitch again. Same as what we did last time. Just to be on the safe side. Like I said, I've done it a couple of times now with the runs that I've done. And again, this is just to play it safe. Here's the fun thing. So once we get past this level, the game speeds up dramatically. So like the first 25 minutes of this run is me just exploring Montressa and doing chores and stuff like that. After that, it's literally just like ship racing, I think it is. Also, these guys can't kill you, which is nice. So we're going to collect the one there. It's worth noting again, like I said, we do the glitch thing here. So I've actually found a slightly quicker way to get to the guy. So there's a guy that wants us to stop his stock from being eaten. So by doing this out of bounds glitch thing here, you can actually land pretty close to the guy here. And that's also a quicker way of getting to the... what's it called? It's a quicker way of getting to the floor. So what I do this errand, should we say, for this lad, and what he wants us to do is he wants us to guard his fruit stall. So we've got to go around zapping these big ass rat things apparently. So we've got to just do this for like the next 2 minutes or so. But yeah, if you got anything to mention about the marathon or anything like that, or any thoughts on the game, feel free to go right ahead. Saves me lots of killing rats anyway. Let's see. Hopefully I can get these guys before they get to me fruit. I know that the last one is over here somewhere. There we go. Sweet. And we got it.
Oh, you're really handy with that laser. Take this. And my thanks
There we
for
go.
guarding my stalls.
So this guy's gonna try and kill us. He ain't gonna be able to do that. Like I said, so these guys have like a force field thing. Also, just collect the final few coins. So that's the 200 coins we need. Also,
Secret area.
there's the 10th one. Lovely stuff. So what we're actually going to do here is, when you do the death glitch, it's a bit different. So the route would normally be, you wouldn't do this death glitch because you'd actually have lives and everything. And you'd actually turn around and go, right, well, I've got to do this now, I've got to get here. It's like, yeah, you've got to get here. But by doing, like, you can do a death and it resets you. So I want to make sure that I'm here. Just a bit close, about here, there we go. So like I said, the only reason I'm doing this is I'm just playing it safe here. I suppose there's nothing wrong with that. Also, the funny thing is that nothing's actually loaded. You can see like the screen's just black, there's nothing there. Which is quite funny, to be honest. Because normally it's like, yeah, oops. And that is also what I want to do, grab that. So this next bit is slightly tricky for me. I don't know why this bit's so hard, because I don't know, I've always seemed to struggle with it. So I always leave these enemies here. I did actually manage to make this part of the run a bit easier last time when I did it. So I'm going to try that again and see if that works. But basically what I do, well, what a normal run would do here is they wouldn't be using the death glitch. Whereas obviously because I am, it's going to be a bit slower. Just as a heads up. So again, we're going to respawn from the top, and eventually I'm going to pan into shot. I don't know where I am right now. Where am I? Wrong shot. There it is. There we go. That was brilliant, actually. Perfect. That's been a lot quicker than normal. Awesome. Cracking stuff. I never actually managed to do that as quick as that. So that actually went a lot better than expected, so that's a time gain for me. So, because of the death glitch, it means that we can just do this. Just go, yeah, right, it's going to drop down here into the void, which, like I said, you go down, it apparently shifts you from the roof. I don't know how this game even works half the time. Let's just say game physics is what works. Also, we're just going to push this here. And we're going to collect the second of the 4 crystals. So there's actually one part that we're going to get to in a second, and the one part that we're going to get to is that we need to get another yellow crystal. Now we need 4 crystals to buy the crystal thing. You'll see why, but to kind of put it blunt, in this game, there's going to be a lot of this, by the way, where I can just abuse the death thing, which is quite nice. But yeah, it's quite a fun game if anyone's interested in running this. It's quite a straightforward game to learn as well. Just for the sake of things, I would play it safe as well, just play the game through, especially as the first time. And if I can get this jump, yes I can. Nice. So I'm going to get that there. And hopefully, yes, okay. So ideally, what we wanted to do there is we wanted him to grab the ledge, and I'm like glad that he did, because yes, it's always a good thing. So believe it or not, it's not the first like 25 minutes for me that's the hardest. I think there is a few bits that are difficult, but like after you get past, let's say the spaceport race. Also, Jim's just gone through the floor apparently. And he's here somewhere, I just don't know where. There, that'll do. Nice. We got a checkpoint. Do that. So we got 5 out of 6 now. So actually this is going to be the first point where we actually use a laser shooter. So you'll actually get to see me use this for about 2 seconds, literally. So it's that middle one there. And hopefully that shot well. It did indeed. Nice. So it basically allows you to make Jim not invincible, but it basically allows Jim to make his laser like twice as powerful as it usually is. So that's something. Also, the reason why I collect that life there is because what I want to be doing is, ideally, I want to be able to quit to the hub once I've got the last one. So when I've got the last one, I can obviously run past these guys, by the way, which is always nice. Like that. And we'll just jump over here. Nice. So normally you'd have like you collect this one and be like, alright, okay, that's fine. So we've got 11. Now what we're going to do is we're now going to get the last part of this. So we're going to make sure that this guy does not shoot us. He might get a good shot on us if I'm lucky. If I'm unlucky, sorry. So here's the guy in question. And he's going to go, I need 200 doubloons. So we give him the 200 doubloons. And now, when we collect this final one, that's actually pretty good. I'm not going to lie, that was really, really good. So that's spaceport done. So that's like the last time we actually have to do anything to do with exploring worlds and everything. So we're done and dusted on that front. So now we've just got the Scrooge boss that we're going to do. Now the Scrooge boss is actually quite easy. So he's going to whack this here. So after a bit, these grenade things pop out. Like such. As such. So you have to throw a few of these at him. So hopefully you'll whack the thing. Yeah. Nice. So you need to hit him 3 times there. Like that. So that's his first cycle. Second cycle is quite easy. So you have to blow 3 of these things up here. Just do that. Nice. So he throws 3 crates, then a 4th crate, jumps, and then lands. And then when he lands, you can shoot him. And then it's literally just rinse and repeat. I know, easiest boss ever. Isn't it just? So you can actually get him as soon as he lands, which is always nice. Nice. So that's Scrooge defeated, just like that. So we defeated him. Wasn't my best Scrooge fight, but that's fine. And now we're going to do the spaceport race. So the next 2 things that we're going to be doing are the spaceport race and the legacy race. They're about 3 minutes apiece. Spaceport race is quite easy to get the goal timer. The legacy one is a bit more difficult, but once we've got past legacy, everything's plain sailing from there. So yeah, we'll be able to go a bit one step further with that one, which is pretty damn good. Also, it doesn't matter if I collect any money. In this one, it really doesn't matter. But I'm going to collect extra lives as well. And you also get to see, for the first time, you also get to see the super speed boost. So the super speed is, well, as you saw, so you can see on my mortal speedometer thing that's down there, if you can call it that, that it only goes up to purple. But when you have these super speed things, they go up into like the red zone. I have no idea why, they just do. There's also one other thing as well. So with the I don't know what you call it, I think it's a glider of some kind. So with this glider, what you can actually do is you can turn around and go, right, okay, so here's a glider, but it'll actually go a bit quicker than you want it to. I don't know, it's very strange. So we're going to collect that there. So like I said, I'm collecting the I'm going to collect all of the hearts that I can get my hands on in the races. So if you see me like going for the hearts, that's just so I've got enough lives against Long John Silver, who will be going up against later on after the legacy race. But what I was trying to say before was, with this glider thing, so by me pressing left and right, I'm able to turn just like that. You can see that Jim's able to move. But if I hold the left trigger, sorry, the L2 button I mean to say, thinking Xbox terms here. So if you hold L2, and it's the same with R2 as well, you basically sharpen your response when you turn into a corner. So for example, when I get the, should we say, the super speed pickup for the nitro, what ends up happening in the end is you're able to turn tighter and still keep that speed as well, which is quite cool. So for example, now it'll do that, and I can go either with, if I wanted to, I could do it with the regular steering, or I can try and do it with the other steering. It really doesn't matter. So as soon as that comes up, you can do that. It's great, literally. So we skip the legacy and just do the legacy race because it only takes like 2 minutes, and yeah. This allows us to progress. Once we've done this, by the way, we unlock the Silver Boss and the Treasure Planet race, but you have to defeat the Silver Boss, or Long John Silver, to beat the Treasure Planet race. So, yeah, there you go. So I'm hoping this one goes alright. This is actually the race I'm dreading the most, because this is usually where the game decides that it wants to eat your inputs for whatever reason. I don't have a clue why it wants to do that, but there you go. Also, me collecting coins really doesn't matter here, so it's completely fine. But I'm just actually curious, like, if anyone here has played this game before, and if they have, like, what they've made of it. If they have. I'm intrigued to hear. So it didn't eat my input this time. Yeehaw! It's funny as well, so when I was doing practice for this game, I was just like, oh yeah, well, there's, you know, what's the worst that can happen, right? Could be anything, actually. The Legacy race was the worst thing that could happen. Tell the truth. I didn't have a new Treasure Planet with PC. I learn something new every day. Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember how much different the PS2 version is, but I believe the PS2 version plays different because I have played it. But yeah, it's, I don't know how I explain it. Like, it was one of those time around the early 2000s when, for example, Monsters Inc. Scream Team, I think it is, or Scream Arena. No, it was Scream Team. Which I believe Bacon's running, I don't know if it's after this run or later on. But yeah, he's done runs of there's like a PC version, there's a PS1 and a PS2 version. But yeah, I don't know. It's what it is. Also, I will just say that the Legacy race has a very stingy time limit. Meaning you can't afford to make any mistakes whatsoever. And I wish I was joking, but you really can't afford to make any mistakes whatsoever. It is absolutely horrendous for making a mistake on. So we get to defeat Long John Silver, or the Silver Boss. Now, I will just explain for the record that this boss fight is about 4 minutes. Reason for that is there's 3 stages that you have to do. The first stage is he needs to destroy these like lamp things. Once they're destroyed, he then starts throwing mines about, and the third thing is to throw dimes to kill him, or to injure him. So the firing at which he's doing this is completely RNG. So the fact that he's blew one up for us already was pretty good. I think in practice I got a really bad RNG with this one. So let's see how he does. Nice. And now what we do is basically between these parts is you just wait like this and it gets rid of that. So that's phase 1 done. Like I said, phase 1 done, dusted. Here's phase 2. So this has 6 stages. So what he does here is he throws mines like this. So every second stage he throws a mine that blows up on its own. Sorry, that won't blow up. So, this is the time where Jimbo fights back now. Like that. So, this is his 3rd stage. Like that. Like I said, now we just wait. It's literally just a waiting game with this one. actually quite glad I was near that one. I'm actually being careful with where I throw it because the last time I did the run, I actually made a mistake on this one. So in this one, he fires a hell of a lot of mines. Again, you have to be very careful. And hopefully, his final one. The final one's always the trickiest, but once you've got it, it's a lot better. There we go. There we go. So that's the second stage done. So now we have the third stage. And the third stage is... he's going to now cut off some diamonds. And what we're going to do is we're going to lob them up to him. And it's going to kill him. There or thereabouts anyway. So we've got to keep our eye out for these diamonds. And we're going to throw him. And as soon as he hits one, bosh. There you go. So he's got to do this twice. I missed the bloody diamond. I forget where a diamond was. So I'm hoping you'll cut out a diamond and I can catch it. Yeah, yes. He did cut out one. That's good. Okay, that's the second one. And that's Long John Silver done. Booyah. And that puts us on to the Treasure Planet race. Now I will just give a heads up for whoever's on time. So time is actually going to be not when I cross the line, because you don't quit out of this one. But what's going to happen is when I get to the last bit of the race, there's going to show all of the medals, so the bronze, the silver and the gold medal, and yeah, we're gonna end up pressing X, and it's as soon as I press X, so I'll give you a heads up a bit close to the time, but yeah, just be ready on time for this one. So be about another, we should be alright for now. It's like another 3 minutes or so. I also seem to catch that for some weird reason. I don't know why, but every time seems to be one that I always catch, which is a bit of a shame, but nevertheless. So I can collect the money, collect the coins, collect the time. So I have to be very careful, because this, believe it or not, this can throw you off if you're not lucky. If it eats your inputs anyway, you're very unfortunate if it does. I'm going to collect all the money I can get my hands on in this one. Because why not? Let's just collect the money. Collect a few coins. And that as well. So this is kind of like them one-offs really, where it's like, yeah, okay, here's what's going to happen is, in this one you actually have, in this one you actually have a part which can easily throw you off if you're not careful. So I say that, I mean, everything is just falling to bits around you. So what we found out is that as much as it is fun that Flint has, well, Flint, we're looking for Captain Flint's treasure basically. We found Captain Flint's treasure, but what we just got told is, hey, guess what? Captain Flint has booby trapped his entire planet. Yeah, run for your life. It's all going to turn to pot, unfortunately. So now what we have to do is we have to start doing these jumps a bit later. Like I said, sometimes the game will actually eat your inputs. I don't know why, but it will sometimes eat your inputs. Which is always a fun time, right? Like I said, I'll collect all of the diamonds, because why not? So eventually that brown part there is going to collapse in on itself, and we're going to end up losing a lot to that. Because you end up having to, you can jump over it, it really doesn't matter. After a bit you can actually stop collecting coins, which is great. Yeah, we're about another, I'd say about a minute off for time. So it's going to be not at the end of the race. I wish it was, but it's not. So there's the brown bit. I told you, I said it was going to go, didn't I? Final lap. And the final lap doesn't actually have the that point. So we actually go into the void for the end to this game. For those that are like, what? How does that work? Yeah, believe me, I have no idea. But yeah, get ready on time. So there's the bit I was on about. So time is coming up. Get ready for it. And time. And that is Treasure Planet any percent. That was actually a pretty damn good run. That was a PB run. And if I'm not sure if it is, but that might have been a 38, possibly, because I started the timer a bit later. So time starts as soon as you go into. Also, the credits are gonna roll, but time usually starts as soon as you start scrolling. So if my timing is a bit more accurate, if I'm correct, that might have been a 38, a late 38, like 38:58 or something, which would be pretty good for me. I'm pretty glad that I was able to show this game off. Thank you to Isaston for letting me show it off. I'm glad that I also pulled that run out of the bag. I mean, I did do a bit of practice last week, like the week just gone, and the runs were getting better. This run went really, really well, and I'm happy for it. I'm glad it did. My silver boss could be improved, but anyway, personal improvements aside, yeah, if you want to give this game a try for yourself on the PlayStation, feel free to do so. Would highly recommend running, unless it can't be helped, I'd highly recommend getting hold of the North American version. It is quicker. You can run the game on emulation or on console. I've run it on emulation, I know, boo. But you can run it on emulator or console, whichever your preference is. I believe the record is on, I want to say emulator, but I don't know. Pretty close. Console's good as well. But yeah, you can obviously learn. There's a lot more strats to it. I didn't show off the full thing for Spaceport because Spaceport has a few more unique strats and everything. That, like I said, that run could be way quicker. But big thanks to Lysathon once again for letting me show this game off and for having me. Yeah, I'll pass it back over to the host, whoever that is. Thanks again for having me.
Thank you so much for that wonderful run. That was super fun. And I wanted to clarify, is that a PB for you?
It is, yeah. According to my splits, it's a 39:14. But if we're taking into consideration where the time would usually start, I'd say it's about another 15 seconds quicker than that. So it's like 30-second PB also.
Well, congratulations on the probably your first sub 38. That's exciting. Hi.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't think I've been saying to myself that I wanted to get sub 40 for a while, and then I got it in practice, and then the fact that that might have been a 38, I don't know yet, but we'll see on reviewing it and retiming it. But if that was a 38, then I think that's about it for my PB wise for that. Because I mean, then I'd have to start like learning how to do Spaceport properly, because believe it or not, what I was trying to explain with Spaceport is, in Spaceport, we don't do the death glitch thing. We don't exit out and back into the game like you saw me do. I do that because I play it safe. That's the only reason. That and it's marathon friendly. But the record holder basically does a lot more. Like they do, when you saw me kill, like just drop down, lose a life, it immediately respawns you back at the checkpoint. So what they do in Spaceport is they have 3 lives in that one. And then what it allows them to do is, so the Montress is pretty much the same as the record, except they're a lot quicker. But in Spaceport, they do like, for example, they do the guy with the rat, then they climb up, they blow the door open, I think it is, to get the treasure token thing, which is again the same as what I do, except what they do is they deliberately get killed to respawn back to the start of the level, and a lot of the time they end up like respawn everything. Also, shout outs goes to Emma Thompson, the actress, because she voices the cat. I forget what she's called. Captain Amelia, I think it is in the film. She's in it, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, he voices Jim in this as well. So yeah, if you know them actors and actresses, then yeah, you'll probably like the film. I highly recommend the film as well, and I do own it on DVD myself. Would highly recommend giving it a watch. It is quite a fun film, and it has a few funny moments. But yeah, anyway, enough from me. Thanks, like I said, thanks again, License-a-thon, for having me. Yeah, I'll let you take it away.
Awesome, thank you so much. We're just gonna head back over to setup, and we'll be getting started here with our next run pretty soon, which is Mickey no Tokyo Disneyland Deboken. So that'll definitely be an interesting SNES run, so stick around for that. But thank you so much to Thebpg13. Thank you for doing that run. It's a great way to start the day. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you very much.